Welcome to the Let's Talk Basic podcast, where girls talk about everything basic.
Join us as we sit down with a glass of wine and see where the conversation goes.
Kick back,
relax,
and get ready for the ultimate girls' night in.
I'm your host, Joanne.
And I'm Vanessa. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I hope you guys have missed us. We're super excited to be back.
Yes, we have been on a lot of dates.
Yeah.
Supervising a lot of dates.
Yeah. And we have our Bachelor with us today to debrief about everything. And I guess this is the finale. This is it.
Yeah, this is it.
He gets to choose today, so.
Oh my gosh.
I'm really excited and nervous, and I don't know.
Yeah. How are you feeling,
I have no idea
Mike?
who you're gonna pick, so.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, okay, take us through all your dates and, like, how you feel like they went. I mean, you did the debrief, but now it's been a few weeks and you've had time to think about it.
Okay, well, the one thing I was thinking about, I think this is a good sort of sidetrack to do, because I was telling you, this was after the first two dates, and just with friends, we kind of got talking. But hearing the whole Enneagram thing, I was like, I have to do it. I have to find out what I am. So I think it's going to be a good segue to talk about each date and how like that relates to my personality too.
Okay.
So
do you
first
know
of all,
each date's Enneagram?
I only know one.
Okay,
so
okay.
We'll get into it.
What's your Enneagram number?
I'm going to guess he's an investigator. Like, very logical and very pragmatic about everything he does.
So there's one guess.
Nope.
Another guess. Pick a number 1 through 9 if you're not
3.
sure.
An achiever.
Yes. An
So-
achiever.
Which is also like a...
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that could be yours too. 'cause,
Goal
like,
oriented.
yeah.
So 3 was like a close second. There was one that was a little bit higher, and it's a 7.
Really?
I know.
You're one of
Isn't that
mine.
crazy? Oh, you're both 7.
We're
Yeah,
both
we're both
7.
Because I knew you were 7.
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Does that
Wow.
surprise you or
That's
no? It surprised
super-
me when I found out.
Are you sure?
I am? No, because when I started reading it, like
Yeah.
I know it's one of those things like a horoscope, you can relate to anything. Like, oh, that's totally me. But
Yeah.
I read a few of the other ones just to see like your reactions and to things for life. But you talk about like, oh, just being chill. But for me, it's always just wanting to do something like more fun or just to change gears and do something else. And that's totally like the enthusiast paragraph. So as soon as I started reading it, I was like, no, that totally is me. But then there's the achiever side too. So that comes in a little bit, but it's probably
Yeah.
less.
Do you
It's more
think
like
that-
long-term achiever, I guess, but short-term is definitely enthusiast.
Yeah.
Just
I
always
feel
looking
like
for
you're
something
less,
different to do.
how do you call it? You're more organized than like a 7. I feel like your head's in the right place, and you're less
Sometimes.
scattered brain.
Sometimes I
know
just
that
choose to be
am.
scattered though, because it's easier, and that's the enthusiast. It's like, why do I have to plan if I don't need to, kind of thing. So reading it, I highly suggest if someone hasn't done it, you actually find out when you read the description, it makes total sense.
Do
So.
you have
Now
FOMO
you know.
in your life?
You know what's funny? I would say sort of, but it's not at the beginning. Like if you hear people are going out and doing something fun, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, I hope they have fun. But afterwards, if it sounded like it, and you're like, oh, I did this, and then it's almost like fear of missing out afterwards instead of ahead of time. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But,
Like, so
yeah.
interesting. I have never
sure.
met a male 7.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. He seems a lot calmer than us.
Absolutely.
On
Absolutely.
the outside.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
there it
a lot
is.
more calm.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the 3 part in it, and I guess I don't know. Maybe it's
Or maybe
because it was
he's-
close, and I saw like the 3. I was like, oh, most of those make sense, but it made a little bit less sense than 7 when I read it. So that's why I was like, okay, I actually think this test was right.
Ah, interesting.
Now you know.
Yeah. Maybe you're a very advanced 7.
And then 7s have the,
No, like when you're in like a growth state, you become more like a 5, which is very like chill and
What's number 5 again? What-
the investigator.
Yeah, I actually thought that's what it was going to be before I did it. And then when I saw it, I was like, what, really? And
I totally thought so.
yeah,
Guess you don't love books enough.
I guess not. Well, I haven't read it in a couple of years. I was like, what's wrong with me? I used to like it. So there's the
Yeah.
enthusiast. Like, no, there's something else more enjoyable. I'll just do that instead.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very interesting. Okay, which of the girls do you know then? Like their
So-
Enneagram type.
The first date, Jen, we talked about it, and that was part of it afterwards. I'm like, oh, I kind of want to find out now.
Yeah.
Can I say what she is, or she'll tell you? I don't know.
You can tell
You can
us.
tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a 3
Yeah.
achiever, and then comparing it in like things with goals, like I could tell she's definitely more of a 3 than I am, even if it was a close second. But
Yeah.
that's kind of a good segue into the first date, I guess.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. Oh, wait.
So-
Okay, wait. Have
okay,
you
okay,
looked
no.
at your Enneagram type to see how compatible you
No,
are?
that part I actually didn't know.
Okay,
I
wait,
should have. I
yeah.
didn't even know that was really like I saw the
Yeah,
numbers where it said
That's where it gets
here's-
interesting.
or it's like if you're both whatever, like almost any number is compatible with any number, but I guess there's more on
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's
the
just
shape,
like
right?
these are what the I don't know, potential areas of trouble and potential areas of like growth or like positive areas that
okay.
each type brings to each other. I will tell you that I know that 3s and 7s are compatible already.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's any segue.
Okay, Joanne,
Okay.
enough
Yeah.
about Enneagrams.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I started it.
Let us know how your dates went.
Yeah.
So start
Yeah.
with Jen.
So we'll go in order. Yeah. So I guess the videos are coming out now. So you guys got a
They're
glimpse
out.
of.
Yeah, they're out.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
all out now.
Okay.
When this gets
Yeah.
released, they'll be all out.
Right. So everybody will know the backstory. So that started. We went to Tilt, and I still like looking back the awkwardness at the beginning, just not knowing what to expect, and it's a complete blind date, right? And, I mean, I trust your judgment, but at the same time, can I fully trust it until I know? But I mean, instantly I could tell you did a great job with matchmaking on the first date.
What do you mean by that?
Well, just right away, I don't know. Sometimes even if you meet someone and there's something about the personality, or it's almost like you can tell they don't want to be there, or just like standoffish or something. And Jen was not like that. And I just find, I don't know, if you both make it extremely awkward, or even if one person just seems like off-putting or not fully committed to it, I guess, or doesn't have an open mind, you just, right away, it's like, how can you even have fun on a date? But instantly, maybe it made it better too with the flower and just saying hi and everything. But
Yeah.
The flower.
Very key. That sunflower played a very crucial role.
We should get you a sunflower.
Yeah.
This series.
yeah, really, I don't own a sunflower shirt, but maybe I should. Yeah, and I guess you sort of saw the the initial introduction, and that's just kind of a really quick high. But then when you go into the date, that's where you start to actually get talking. And we went inside, and pretty much right away, we actually didn't do the challenge or the games until probably halfway through the date. We just sort of sat by the window that you were spying. definitely caught you spying, but yeah, we just got to know each other over probably about an hour or two before even playing the games. And it was an interesting thing, because there's some things that we definitely do have in common, and there's some things where our personalities are different. And I guess that's where Jen's kind of achiever thing comes into play. Like, I understand it, and I mean, I'm goal oriented too, but I could tell she's even more so than me. And I wouldn't say not in a serious kind of a standoffish way, but in a good personality trait where goal oriented is positive and not at all costs kind of thing. So it was a good medium. And then we started playing the games. So that was like the thing that I always chalk up to it is like, it was great that you planned it out, and it was great we had something to fall back on in case it was, a bad date or an awkward date or something just wasn't going well. It's like, all right, let's just play games side by side. But we sort of did that for 20 minutes, half an hour. We did our challenge and each picked a couple of games and played, and then that was it. And we went back down and kept talking again.
That's a really good sign.
No, that's what I
you're,
mean.
like,
yeah.
Able to.
And it's one of those ones you can just tell where it's mutual. It's not like one person's sort of more excited than the other. It was kind of level of where we were both enjoying it. And geez, like the one thing I remember at the very end too, was probably like 11:30, and it's a week now, and you're like, well, look at the time. I didn't even realize that.
Oh my gosh, it
4 or
was
5
so
hours
funny.
that went by so quick. So.
Because it was our first date too.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially. And like after an hour in, I think we like set you guys up at like 7.
It was light out, and it was probably 6 or 7. Yeah.
And like at 8, like an hour in, I was like, okay, let's see if it's over, because like an hour is like a very reasonable time.
Yeah,
to
well,
be
we
like,
both checked
this
our
is
phones,
not...
and we got the text like, take pictures. How's it going?
Yeah.
And me just kind of wanted to troll you. I was like, I'll just respond later. I'll make you wait. I'll make it worse.
I was dying. Like
Joanne and I were messaging. You're like, oh my god, I'm not answering.
I know. And then at 11:30, when I saw one of you guys online, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're on their phones.
Yeah, exactly. We just, yeah.
It's so late. So that was a really good sign, because it was like, oh man, that's a couple hours that you guys spent together.
Yeah, because what if, I mean, your friend too, right? What if you set it up and it's like half an hour later, we just said, oh, we didn't even play a game. We just left. Like it could have been.
Well, honestly, here's
worse,
the thing, right? Like, I don't think we really expected much out of this. We're like, maybe one date will go well, and that would be the best case scenario.
Yeah, worst case would be all 3. I'm like, oh, I was on the show and that's it.
And we were like, you know, a lot of first dates end up being like going out for a drink, talking for like an hour, and then being like,
most dates are like coffee dates, you know, 30 minutes to an hour, and you're like,
okay, which is usually what I prefer too, right? It's like,
you
just have an out just in case, or even after a bit of time, you're like, okay, like it's nice to meet you and it's going well, but sometimes you almost want to keep the momentum and like stop it at a certain point, right?
Yeah.
And this one felt natural, like it ended at the right time. And
I was like so pleasantly surprised that it lasted so long.
That's what I texted you. I was like, are you crying?
I was like, I think I am.
All the emotion just in the text, I could tell. Yeah.
There were a lot of emojis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
even now you're like,
that was really good.
So yeah.
And so would you go out on a second date with Jen?
Yeah, I would.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So then you had the second date, and I mean, you kind of got all the nerves out of the way from.
You kind of know what to expect.
Yeah, and I know like how the initial filming setup is, and like here's the flower and all that. So, I guess this one was still completely different. It's not meeting outside of a bar; it's meeting in High Park, right? So it's a little bit different too, and. I had an idea, I guess I did know right before with the charades what was going to happen and how to act it out. Obviously, I couldn't cheat and see what was in there, but you just think, I'm getting filmed, it's going to be terrible. But that helped break the ice for the second one for sure. And Emma's definitely a better actress than me. Like some of those charades, you guys are going to edit out probably all the 20 seconds of me just standing there not knowing how to act out a simple animal. And I still like the crocodile. I don't know how I didn't get that. Like,
that was a pretty
I just
great
kept
crocodile.
doing the chomp, and I was thinking, really, how could I not? But it's the best part of it is it's still going to be awkward if you don't like. It's still a blind date at the end of the day, but it helps break the ice. And when we got to go to the zoo, it was a perfect kind of little segue. So, it was good because I had never been to the High Park Zoo before. Like that's kind of my area in the West End. So I mean, I know High Park well in the area, but it's funny. It's just. That's what made it good as a first date. It's not like, I've been here before, I can talk about it. It's like a completely new experience. Mm-hmm. I wish I found out what Emma's Enneagram is, actually. That would be a tough one for me. I'm just trying to think out loud. I don't know if you ever had the test.
What hers is.
Do you know?
Yeah, I do. She's a 9, so that's the peacemaker.
Oh, peacemaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't like conflict. Very
that kind
chill,
of makes sense.
Which makes a lot of sense. I'm like, she's very
sweet.
Chill.
Yeah.
Which. I totally got that because even we were walking around and sort of after the zoo part, I was kind of like I was the one that sort of said, well, okay, like I know you know the area, but let's go to this place. And even you guys give the suggestions before, like just in case you don't know, like here's some spots to go. But I just knew a place that I had been to before, and I could tell the peacemaker was like, yeah, sure, that sounds like fun, like let's do it, everybody will be happy, kind of thing. But continuing it, it went just as well, I would say. Like we were. Different things in common than the first date, so it's not like you're almost going through the motions of asking the same question and having the same answer and being like, oh cool, and almost acting the same way. Like it went down a different path, so you're talking about different things and different stories. So that
tried to make all pick girls that were very different from each other too.
And that's the thing I noticed. Like that's the thing, like they're all great, so it's different in a good way, right? Like it's
I mean they were
what did you call it?
amazing.
It's the advanced thing on the Enneagram, like for sure, personalities. No overbearing. Like what's the negative word? Like none of that at all. It's at the top level, like advanced. And anyways, that one, like I said, towards the end of the date, I was just thinking, this is gonna be so tough because I was thinking, best case, like one date would go well. And it just sort of ends and that's it. But that one went really well too. So it was even tough doing the debrief. Like, wow, I'm so happy with both of them. But am I turning into the actual Bachelor? Like where they have to, every show, they're like, my decision's so hard, I don't know what to do. So it was hard to isolate it and give, I guess, a proper debrief that was completely segregated and on its own and not, this show is so great. Like all that. So that made it tough, but it was equally as fun, just in a different way, I'd say.
Are you going to start watching The Bachelor now?
I think you should.
Because you have insights into it.
I'd be like, what's this guy saying? That's total BS. I know he's on.
You're
starts in January?
I've been there.
Yeah. How can you fall in love with 2 girls at one time?
Yeah, I feel his pain. Now I get it.
By the way, the new Bachelor's name is Peter. It's like very generic. It's like you have Mike and Peter.
Is Peter a white boy too?
Guy. Yes.
He is a white guy.
Yeah, I think you should watch it.
I'm just gonna compare him and get jealous. Like Peter's not good.
Unfortunately, I think he has like 26 girls or something.
That would be overwhelming. Like I wouldn't even know what to do.
That would be a lot. Yeah.
How many roses do you have to give out on the first day?
I feel
or
like
the
it
first
goes
episode
50% or something like that.
I feel like if it's 25, I feel like they cut it down to maybe like 20.
No way,
or
way
like
more.
17,
like I think like 15 at least. Yeah,
15 sounds I
feel like.
Does it happen right away, like the first night?
Yeah, the first night they get rid of.
You have one.
Could you imagine that rejection? Like you're not even good enough to talk to more than one day.
I don't know. It sucks. But that's the thing, right? Like you can make judgments based on very initial
that's
conversations.
True. Which is like I said too, a date could be half an hour and you're like, okay, nothing against you, but nothing's working. So I guess it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Maybe this is more like the end of the show where you have tough decisions to make, I guess.
Yeah.
You have tough decisions.
You do.
I know, I do.
Okay, so date number 2 went extremely well too.
So would you go on a second date with Emma?
Yeah. That's the problem with the, like, of course, it's, if this was in isolation, like, I'd be thrilled, and you're going to find out with the third one, like, I'm thrilled with all 3 of them, and
okay, so tell us about the third one.
Mm-hmm.
This one's kind of interesting.
Well, how about that surprise, huh?
Yeah. So how did you feel about that one? That little curveball we threw at you.
I mean, maybe I am a bit of an Enneagram investigator too, and I was trying to figure out on my own, like, who would it be, or who have I maybe even talked to, or I don't know. You just kind of guess to try and reduce the surprise a bit, but at the same time, like, you sort of said, oh, what if it's someone you know? And I just thought, how would that narrow it down? So I started thinking, but I tried not to be too, I guess, too much investigative, because then, and then if you're wrong, you're just like, oh, that's not who I was expecting. Like, imagine saying that.
Yeah.
So by the end of it,
really
and beforehand, just kind of waiting there, I was like, okay, let's see. And then it's Lisa. And so it's, someone I've known for, I mean, on and off, we kind of went separate ways after graduating, but someone I know, I'd say fairly well, like, the way she described it on the date actually was like 1 degree of separation. So a ton of mutual friends, and maybe, once a year I kind of just see her and catch up and say, oh, how's it going? And you do that catch up. But this is probably the most we'd ever talk to each other for sure on this date. And that was such a fun one too. Value Village, like, that was a first for me. So that makes it good too. All these, I guess it's not like the TV show where you're going to Bora Bora or something.
We don't have the budget for that.
Yeah, Value Village is the exact opposite, I guess. But, everybody's going to see the catwalk and how much fun we had. And I guess, you filmed me walking into the dressing room, so you couldn't leave that one too. You just had to find out what it was like.
Well, we needed to give people something.
Yeah, that's being the investigator. And that was fun. And we both have souvenirs too. So Lisa has her Mickey puppet, which is pretty funny. She's saying, "Oh, that's the better Mickey," and all that. So thought, ha ha. But we went there, and then we went to Aveling Brewery, which is kind of just down the street. So that's the fun thing too. It's like 3 different areas, right? So that's till Dundas, anyways, like kind of West Toronto, and then High Park, and then all the way back to the East End. So it was good to change it up, and another place I'd never been to before, and that was a lot of fun too, because with Lisa there was less of like, oh, tell me about yourself. It was more like, what have you been up to the last 5 years, and how's the career going, how's life going? And she actually she just bought a place like close to me now too, so it's neat to talk about that area, the area that I know well, and sort of tell her what to expect. So again, like a completely different date and a completely different personality. If I had to guess, like, I would say Lisa has to be a 7 too, just with the positivity, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I thought it had to be.
Yeah,
so
we'll find out.
Yeah,
you screwed me over and gave me a tough decision. So,
so how was it? I guess, considering that you knew her, how was it going on the date with her, and like trying to change your perspective of her as like a friend to like an actual date?
I'd say I guess that was the hard part, because when it's completely blind, it's that's all you know is the person you just met, and your entire focus is on sort of a like compatibility and whether or not it works for a date. And when it's someone that you've known for a while, I'd say it's kind of hard to change gears like that. Yeah. And just to sort of switch your mind and say, oh, now it's someone that, I've talked to on and off, and it's like, are they compatible? Is it date wise? And I guess some of the things that came up, like when you ask the questions, a lot of it's about, reminiscing and looking back and things that you mutually did as friends. So when you have that discussion, sometimes when it comes up, it's hard to separate it that way, but it's also, of course, you want to catch up and ask those things. So I'd say it wasn't difficult, but it was tougher than I thought to isolate it, I would say. But it was still it was a great idea to kind of throw a wild card and have someone that I'd met before too.
Yeah. And I think we were really curious how it would go too, because we're like,
we had no expectations.
Yeah, because we didn't know her.
Yeah.
And I think even since I'd met her, we had each been in relationships like alternating different times, so you just never even thought of it that way, right? It was like, oh, okay.
It was such an interesting one because she actually got nominated by somebody else, but she was
I heard about that.
She was very down. She knew who you were, and was
she's
like,
very candid about it and said it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she said it to you too.
Oh yeah. I know who nominated. So.
But it was such a wild card because I didn't know if it would be an advantage or a disadvantage. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day,
it's kind of both, like an advantage and a disadvantage, because it's hard to flip the switch, but it was also like no feeling out process. It's just like, let's catch up and instantly, right? It was like, you probably saw when we first met. It was like, oh, hey, right? It was easy. That way,
actually, like, what was your impression when they met up for the first time?
I'm not gonna lie, like, looking back at all 3 of the days, I mean, obviously, number 1 was really awkward because you're both.
So nervous.
Yeah, like Joanne and I were also doing it for the first time, so I feel like like we had some kinks to work out. But like seeing you guys in that first meeting, that was a little bit awkward.
Yeah, awkward for the producers too. Yeah.
It was so awkward, and it's also like if you look back at the first video, so go back and watch it. You don't actually stand up to shake her hand. You were so nervous. So like she came and she was like, "Hi, I'm Jen," like super cute, and you're like sitting there on the bench.
I remember like a handshake, but yeah, I guess just because I know.
Because I think you were just like so nervous and like.
Because I'm so focused on like, oh, make sure I give it a flower. Like that's all that was in my head.
Yeah. So if you look back at that date, I was like, oh, that was awkward.
Oh, that was so uncomfortable.
So no wonder you were spying. Like, oh, this is gonna be the most awkward date we've ever set up.
Disastrous.
And then the second day, Emma, like you guys were, I knew that you guys were definitely going to get along because you guys were both super sweet, easygoing people.
For sure, yeah.
Just so lovely. So like, I feel like the second date, you were actually the most chill.
Yeah.
I felt.
And well, even like, doing charades and just the nice day in the park, everything, that the atmosphere helped too, for sure. Yeah.
So like, I thought the second date, you were the least nervous, and then the third day for some reason you were all just kind of like riled up again. You're like I could tell that you're like, oh, I'm on my toes because I know that you guys are gonna you guys told me you were gonna throw me a curveball. You're like, what is it, what's gonna go on? So I feel like that definitely showed when I was interviewing you pre-date. But I think overall I would say like the most awkward interaction would be like number 1 and 3 for me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I thought like the third one was just like, it was hard to read. I think for both people, like, she obviously knew that she was coming to meet you, but like, seeing your face, like you're trying to be excited and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it was just like all shown on your face.
Overload, yeah.
And then on top of that, it's like weird for Joanne and I to be there filming.
I know.
Yeah. So I think you guys are both like really great sports, and I think I think all 3 dates sounded like they went really, really well, but all that
no
first
debrief
meeting,
I'm honestly still so shocked that like all 3 of them went so well. Like nothing on you or the girls. It's just like, how is that possible to have 3 consecutively good dates?
Yeah, because like
that's matchmaking skills.
I know,
that's
so good.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I thought that was I really enjoyed. Like I know that you kind of said your part about going on these dates and how fun it's been, but I think it's also been really entertaining and
for me
it's been like the most exciting thing of my life.
Well, you can probably even tell like doing the podcast the second time, your comfort level gets better too. So I'm
you're not crossing your arms this time.
I'm leaning forward.
You're leaning forward. You're engaged. Right. We don't even have to feed you a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
I totally remember that.
I know.
Remember the first time he came, he was sitting like this,
crossed arms and leaning away from us.
It's funny because when I listened when the episode came up, and the first thing I hear is just me talking about posture, and I'm like, oh, here we go again, right? Just relive the cringe. But yeah. It feels more natural, at least now. So
Has your mother listened to the podcast?
I've delayed it a little bit because I've filled her in on what's been going on, like in the dates and everything, and she's so invested in it. And she keeps texting me like, "Oh, how did date number 3 go? I want to find out." I'm like, "I'll call you when I call you."
Oh my gosh.
She got the real debrief.
And she said, "Once it's all up, I'll tell you." And I just said, "Okay, I'll tell you when it's up." But she keeps asking, so I don't think I can delay. Like, I'm gonna have to tell her now.
You're gonna send her our handle. We'll get a new follower.
Yeah, exactly. I'll have to show her how to follow. But
Tell her she needs to follow the Let's Talk Basic
Oh my
podcast.
gosh, you're gonna be the topic of Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Sunday night, I'm going home. That's all they're gonna talk about. And that's not me, like, with family talking about all that. That's outside of my comfort zone, but it'll be fun.
Oh, I can't wait. That's awesome. So, do you have anything else to add, Joanne?
No, like, I think based on the dates, I was kind of surprised because you seem the most nervous about, like, Jen and
for sure.
Lisa and the most chill about Emma, like, going into it.
Yeah.
And then the debriefs would happen and, like, you're so giddy about Lisa and Jen, and I was like, oh, like, I thought he would, like, totally have bombed based on how
Yeah, it's
awkward
funny
you
how
were.
it goes, right? It just shows you the first impression isn't always the way it goes through, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, totally.
So you definitely needed the extra half an hour or however long you guys spent with each other.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of exciting. And I think for us, it was just like really funny to watch. And,
Yes.
and,
Were you
like,
spying on us in
go-
Hyde Park or no?
No,
No,
you guys
you
watched
guys
so
watched it.
fast.
And it was also an extremely hot day.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
that's
yeah.
right. Why would
Behind
you
the
wait in?
scenes, I was like, some background for you guys who are listening. It was so hot that day for you and Emma. It was like 35 degrees
Yeah, it was
and
hot.
humid.
Yeah, I when I got home, I was burnt. Like, it was bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was like, this is a terrible day to do a walk in the park because
It was so hot.
it was so
we
hot.
were dying, yeah.
That's
But-
a good smell at the zoo, too.
Yeah.
Those animals.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great summer smell.
Perfect first day.
Yeah.
It's funny that you could just see the parents, like, with the kids, and the kids are so excited, and the parents are like, I just want to go home. It's hot. And you could tell.
But it seemed like you guys had a good time anyway.
No, it was
so
perfect. It was a
like-
good, like, icebreaker to just see the animals and then say,
Yeah.
okay, let's go eat. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you know who you're gonna pick, and we know who you're gonna pick.
Yes.
So maybe we should call her now.
Yeah.
Well, let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
Let's do it.
Oh man,
For the record, I
How
think 3 of us
should
at
it?
this table are the only ones that know.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So whoever's on the receiving end of this phone call
Oh
is
yeah.
going to be in for a surprise.
She has no idea of. Well, yeah. Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi Jen. It's,
Hi.
It's Vanessa and Joanne.
Hi. How's it going?
Did we catch you at a bad time?
No, I just hold on.
I totally caught her at a bad time.
No, it's working. Yeah. Hi. How's it going?
So
I'm
different.
trying to catch my dog right now. Sorry.
How's it going?
Hey. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, just doing some work. You know, sexy Thursday night work.
So we wanted to kind of get your thoughts on how the date with Mike went, and and it's been a few weeks, so like, kind of, how are you feeling? Where are you at?
Sure. Do I just go?
Yeah, just yeah.
How the date went? I think the date went well. We spent a lot of time chatting. We spent a lot of time, I guess, getting to know each other. We went to Tilt, so that was a little bit, that was fun. We broke up the conversations. We had to challenge each other, tried not to lose. Actually, I don't know if he was trying not to lose, but I was trying not to lose. So we saw the dare card before we went on. I knew that it would be mortifying and I wouldn't be able to do it. So kudos to him for taking the loss. Thank you. But yeah, I think it went well. It was brief. there was only so much, I guess, you can learn about a person in one night.
Well, I know that Joanne and I were really, really giddy, just kind of watching the videos and kind of watching Mike's debrief about you, and then also your debrief about Mike. So we're really, really excited.
Do you still feel like? How did you feel about him after your date?
I think this is so awkward. It was good. I mean, like I felt like there was a lot more that I could have learned about Mike, and there's like a lot more that people don't really reveal on the first day, on the first time that they meet each other. So for the most part, like I enjoy talking to him. I enjoy getting to know him a little bit better. I don't know. I don't think anything has changed. I don't think my feelings have changed. Like I'm not like revolted or anything. But yeah, I mean, for sure. Like there's again, like I said before, like there's a lot more that I feel like I could learn about Mike, and there's.
Okay, so
I think I can leave it at that.
Nice. Yeah. So we actually have Mike here with us today, so maybe he can respond to what you just said.
Surprise!
Yeah, that's the rule. If you're on speakerphone, always know who's on the other end, right?
At least I didn't say that you were revolting.
That's what I was thinking. What if he just said something terrible? I would have had to leave.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm happy now.
But yeah, I would say that I agree. Everything you said makes sense, and I had a lot of fun. And the reason that we called you is, I guess you're the winner, or you won, or you're selected.
That's all you're gonna say.
Well, the reason I said it like that, so accountant-like, is you did step on the sunflower, so I couldn't be too friendly, but I hope you held on to it at least. And I'd like to take you on a second date if you don't think I'm too revolting.
I didn't say that. Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Awesome. Well, sorry for the awkwardness, but we're all smiling here. I hope you're smiling too. So.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't say anything.
Yeah, I know. I was trying so hard not to cut in, but I had to hear it. So
Wait, what?
Sorry for the trap.
I hope you don't hold it against us that we didn't tell you that. It made great production value, I think.
Yeah.
Should I have said something else?
No, that was
No.
good.
No.
So,
No.
what are you guys gonna do for your next date?
Tilt round 2, of course. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it.
Well, you'll know for sure that we won't be spying on you guys.
Well, you know that
Yeah,
for
do
sure. I don't know.
Unless you tell us where you're going. That's why we're asking, actually. When, what time, where.
Yeah, what's like the most off the grid place that you would never find a...
There's like
That's
no
what I'm trying to say.
reception.
Yeah. Actually, when do you go to Japan?
Oh, hey. That's
It's okay, I'll be here. I have nothing better to do.
Yeah, but she needs somebody to keep her company.
Yeah.
All right. I guess before we let you go, Mike, is there anything you'd like to say to Jen? And
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Well, I think you said it pretty well. Like it went so well on the first date, and in the future dates, all that you hope for and all that you like to do is to find out more about the other person. So it was a great first one, and I hope the next one's just as good.
I won't kill any flowers.
Don't make promises you can't keep, right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for picking up the phone and letting us throw you a curveball. But we'll let you go.
Well, this is a great phone.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Bye, Jen.
Okay.
That was hilarious. I don't know how I didn't
so
break
mean.
the. I know. Because you could tell. Because the thing is, like I just like you're just waiting, right? I was thinking, what if she actually said something terrible, and I'm just sitting there. Like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to edit the show. But
Well, yeah,
well,
I feel
luckily we
like
don't.
that.
Yeah, no. I think that was good. Yay.
Yeah.
Are you excited, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. Well, you saw my debrief and you saw hers, so yeah, of course.
That's awesome.
And your Enneagram types are compatible, so we can send you off peacefully. Are you sad that this is over?
That sounds like such a trap. Does Mike want to go on even more dates? Yeah. You know, I think you two didn't try hard enough. That's why.
Well, we are so excited to hear about what's going to happen next with you and Jen.
We won't. We don't expect weekly updates, but maybe like every 3 months or so, you can give us an update about how it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
some photos, videos would be nice. Not for us, for our followers.
We need to do the video debriefs after every day.
Yeah, I expect at least 5 minutes every time.
So funny.
And then obviously we want to be invited to your wedding, so
and we will be your MCs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Commitment's made.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we had so much fun getting to know you, and thank you so much for being such a great sport and allowing us and trusting us to do this and coming along on this journey with us. So I hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, me too. And I mean, right back at you, the creativity. And I went into it so awkward and so nervous and just not knowing what to expect. And like we said, it could have been 3 terrible dates or maybe even one that might have worked, and just shows how well you planned it out and how much fun I had too. So thanks to both of you.
Yay. And with that, that's a wrap.
Although, before we finish off, we do have some reminders. Vanessa and I are going to be taking a short break just to regroup and think of what else to plan for you guys.
Give you guys better content.
Yeah, so if you guys have suggestions for us, feel free to DM us, email us, all the things. Follow us on our Instagram page, as always, Let's Talk Basic. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys back in December.
Yes, absolutely. We'll be ready for Christmas and giving you guys all the tips and tricks for that season.
Yeah. So cheers.
Cheers to Mike.
Cheers to Mike and
Jen.
Yay.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Talk Basic podcast. For more exclusive content, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk Basic.